I sure hope they don't need this. Oh, hey. Good morning. Well, the government's shut down, so, what does that even mean? Well, not a lot, really, for most people. At least most people who aren't working in the government. It kind of sucks, though, if you do work in the government and your job has been furloughed or you're shut down. Basically, if you're not showing up to work today, you're probably not getting paid. If you're deemed essential, you show up to work for free and get paid eventually. That kind of sucks, I'll be honest. But what's really happening here? Let's take a look. The White House has released a video here on what they say is the cause. So let's see what we got.
Democrats, the party of open borders, transgender for everybody, lawlessness in our streets, are shutting down the government in an effort to appease the radical left. These Democrats are...
Okay, so it is true. The Democrats are the reason the government is shut down. They did not want to agree to what the Republicans are proposing, which, from what I've gathered, is simply extending current funding levels until we can agree on an actual budget. Honestly, a pretty reasonable thing for Republicans to do. I'm surprised that the Democrats are trying to die on this hill. I don't get it. But let's keep watching.
Are coordinating their strategy with outside leftist groups and are demanding nearly $1.5 trillion in spending for an agenda that includes healthcare for illegal aliens and much, much more. Democrats for years have railed against government shutdowns, claiming a shutdown...
Ironically enough, the last time we had a government shutdown, I think, was 2018 under Trump. It's not an unusual thing to have happen. I believe, happened under Obama too. They happen. Generally, not very long. Although I think Trump's was one of the longest in history, at least in 2018. But I don't think this will last very long. But we'll keep moving here.
Mean much chaos and pain and needless heartache for the American people. Democrats are out of control, and you know who it hurts?
You, everyday people, and the most vulnerable. Seniors, veterans, working families, hungry kids, y'all.
Tell Congress to avoid the Democrat-led government shutdown.
So, yeah. The White House is really pushing that it's Democrat-led, and it's not necessarily a lie. It is true. Although I could not find anything on whether or not it was caused by funding for illegal aliens. So the Associated Press, I checked them out. They can't find, they don't mention anything like this, saying that this is not really it. So I can't find anything there. They do agree, however, that, I'll show you actually. Let me go back to my thing here. They say the Democrats picked this fight, which is unusual for the party that prefers to keep the government running. That is what they say. So, it's not wrong. Now, are they trying to get health insurance for illegal aliens? I can't find that to be proven true. Let me look a little bit more here and see. But I could not find anything on it. They don't say anything here. The closest I could find is, here we go. The Associated Press does have a thing that says they also falsely claim that Democrats forced the government shutdown to fight to give free health care to illegal immigrants. That's not necessarily true. You see, this is mostly to do with Obamacare, which if you're here illegally, you shouldn't be able to qualify for. Basically, tax credits that are applying to Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act are expiring, and the Democrats say we can't let this happen. And honestly, I hate to say it, but the Democrats are right to an extent. These tax credits are important to a lot of very poor people who can't afford health care. I'm not really a fan of government health care. I don't think it really works all that well. But the Affordable Care Act is not as terrible as the Republicans would like it to be. You know, it doesn't fail that badly. It's not great, but it's not the end of the world. At least now, ironically enough, thanks to Donald Trump, in his first term, he removed some of the tax penalties for not signing up for health care. And without those, all you have is the eligibility requirements, which I believe were extended. And you have a pretty reasonable public way to buy private insurance. It is really a great compromise in everything. I remember when this was debated, and I was on the other side of I was on the Republican side of the debate, and I still am to an extent that I think that private insurance is probably better than government-funded health insurance, but this bridges the gap between both. It neither is private or public. It is simply helping you to pay for private insurance, which I'm sure the private insurance companies were like, no, please don't help people. Don't give people a bunch of money that they have to give to us. Please don't. Yeah. Now, why the Democrats are trying to do it now, I don't know why. I honestly think that this is a bill that the Republicans could agree on if they were to pass a thing saying, let's extend these tax credits to the poor. I don't see why this is an issue with the Republicans and why they can't just say it. I don't know why this is happening, really. It doesn't make any sense. There must be something else that is being hidden somewhere else. Let's see what Donald Trump has to say, though. I love Donald. He's the best. But let's see here. Engineered by radical left lunatics who control their party. To be fair, the radical left does control the Democratic Party. Gone are the liberals who simply said health insurance is the reason we're doing this, and I can't believe you. There are people on the left or on the Democratic side of things who said this is what we should do because it's right, and we can afford this. This is a tax we can do. Blah blah blah. This is a good idea. That's their thing. And then there are other people on the same side who say this is such a great idea that you are evil if you oppose it. That's where the problem is. The people who say that you're evil if you oppose us control the left now. No longer it is simply a difference of tax opinions and whether you should have this tax credit or this government program. It's now you are the enemy if you don't. Anyway, let's take a look. The fallout from the Democrat shutdown hits America where it hurts. Critical assistance for low-income women, infants, and children will lapse. America will experience travel delays and disruptions to Social Security services. Funding for inpatient home care and telehealth services for Medicare patients would be suspended. This list includes... Okay, so those are pretty bad things. I don't think it's really that bad, but I mean... endless as the effect ripple across the sector of the economy, and it's all the Democrats' fault. True. That last part is very true. The President Trump and Republicans have been clear Republicans will not be held hostage by this unserious, shameful political gamemanship by Democrats. And that's all they're going to get. They have facts on the White House thing. Let's take a look. What in the world? Okay. No, that's nothing. Okay. Anyway. So yeah. I cannot find anything that really says that they're supporting illegal immigrants. As much as I would love for that to be true, I don't know why, if this is the thing. Now, maybe there's one, senator out there who's like, we need to fund this, and this is why I'm doing it, and they're jumping on that guy. I couldn't find it, but maybe it's out there, and I don't see where they're getting that information. I really don't. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I think this is a bad idea to shut the government down over this. I think that, you could simply extend these credits and you could probably get everyone to work. Now, they're afraid that the Republicans won't do it, and I'll put myself in their shoes. I can see why they're terrified Republicans won't do anything. Republicans have been pushed around by the Democrats for so long that now the Republicans are in charge and they're pushing back. We're forcing our policies to go through, and we're not really working with the Democrats. And Democrats kind of brought this on themselves. They're unwilling to compromise on just about anything. Republicans compromised on just about everything to make everybody happy. We're like, well, we're for all the, the gun debate is really one of the best ones. Well, we won't ban guns. It's against the Constitution, but we'll let you have a bump stock ban, which I think has come off now thanks to the Supreme Court. Don't quote me on that. Things like that. The Republicans are willing to compromise their beliefs to their detriment in some cases. Now they're not. The Republicans are no longer compromising. And the Democrats are used to that. They're used to Republicans bending to their will. They're used to having the leftist pundits, the people on the news, people in Hollywood, everybody supporting them. And now, one, not everybody there supports them anymore, and even those that do aren't listened to by the Republicans. The Republicans have long given up on the news. They have stopped caring what the news has to say. And they've stopped caring what the Democrats have to say. During Trump's State of the Union address earlier this year, he basically said as much, that he gave up on trying to please these people because nothing he says will ever get them to clap. And he's right. And that is the worst place to be, when you no longer care what your opponents care about. You no longer care what half the people in the country want. Now, granted, I think Trump cares about what's good for America, and eventually this is going to be good for what the other half wants. They just don't realize it yet. I have a whole thing on that. Don't get me started on the economy. It's doing far better than it should be. Granted, prices are still higher, but inflation is actually at a reasonable number. I really can't find a problem with it. 3.8%, I believe, was the last update for the GDP rise, which is not supposed to happen. We should not be closing in on 4%. We should be probably at 2%. That's what the number should be. But for some reason, it's a lot higher. Now, you could say, well, maybe it's a mistake, maybe it's fraud. I don't really believe any of that. There's a lot of people that have to go through these numbers, and that takes a lot of people to lie to get that through. And I don't think that, it makes sense. The U.S. economy is expanding where it shouldn't be, and I'm amazed by it. And every time Trump does something in office, and I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work. Somehow it works. I remember that in 2019 when I saw the numbers, and I was like, this is not the numbers that's supposed to happen, but they're happening. That's when I started paying attention to Trump, and I was like, well, maybe he went from being just some crazy guy who got elected. I voted for him, but I was like, we'll see what happens. And then by then I was like, oh gosh, he actually knows what he's doing. I didn't think he did. I thought he was, obviously he was better than Hillary Clinton the first time around, but I didn't think Trump was going to do as good as he did. And now I expect him to do great, and somehow he still is, and I don't see how this is working, but it is. But I have a whole, that's a whole nother video. I could talk on that forever. Let's see, is there anything else that I can find that proves the Republican assertion that is for illegal immigrants? Let's try one last thing, and if I can't find it, we're going to give up, because I don't think it's out there. Ironically enough, Snopes does usually have a pretty good information. Not say I agree with their conclusion. Yeah, fact focus. The Democrats shutting down the government because of healthcare to illegal immigrants. Here we go. The Associated Press say it's false. Okay, the only thing that makes it kind of true, they say that hospitals do receive Medicaid reimbursements, which would be reduced under Trump's bill for emergency care that they are obligated to provide to people who meet other Medicaid eligibility requirements but do not have an eligible immigration status. That is the closest to true. That's interesting. This is only at hospitals, though. And it's only for emergency care. That Medicaid reimburses hospitals for if you have people who normally would be able to qualify for Medicaid, but since they're not here legally or not eligible immigration-wise, aren't covered. It's not a whole lot of money, though. According to them, it's 1% of Medicaid spending between 2017 and 2023. I don't really think that's the hill to die on. Yeah, and Georgetown University Center for Healthcare Insurance Reforms called the Republicans' claims a flat-out lie. It is technically true that they are fighting for that, but it's not the reason they're fighting. I don't think that if the Democrats said, if the Republicans came to them and said, all right, fine, we'll put it into law, those tax credits, everything but the Medicaid reimbursements for people who don't meet immigration status, we assign the bill. I guarantee the Democrats would probably sign it. Granted, not all of them. There probably are some who are definitely wanting everything, and those are the AOCs of the party. Granted, I could be wrong about her. You never know. She always finds a way to surprise people. Anyway, I don't think that the Democrats are doing this simply because they want health care for illegal immigrants. I think that the White House is being disingenuous on that. I love Trump, but this is definitely not what it is. Now, it is true. Democrats are causing this shutdown, and they are causing it in a way that I don't think is necessary. I think they could get these things negotiated, and that the Republicans aren't pushing for a new bill. They're simply just trying to extend the current, funding to keep things moving. They're not trying to redo the budget yet. So this is a shutdown that I think is unnecessary. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah. This is crazy world we live in. It really is. I just don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'll text my friends. I miss phones like this. I know nobody's probably watching, 16 minutes in, but listen to that. Put it next to the mic. I mean, come on. Don't you miss phones that had a keyboard? And granted, I hated this phone. It's an early version of Android, and it was so slow. Sorry, get distracted. Anyway, like and subscribe to the best podcaster ever. I don't know. Have a blessed day, everybody, and we'll see you next time.